everybody, and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. And if this is the first time you're checking out with us at the Huddle Sports Network, we hope you like what we're doing here at Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we continue to give you guys basically daily content on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and now on the Huddle Sports Network. We're very proud to be on this network, and thank you very much for having us. I'm your host, David On Point Hubman, CEO of Prime Sports World, Mr. Israel Rivera, TJ Hopkins, my co-host, and from the Daily Blitz.blog, Mr. Christian Simpson. Welcome to the show, my friends. How's everybody doing? Happy Veterans Day as well. Thank you for all of you that have served our country and you've made the ultimate sacrifice, including TJ's brother. Thank you for his continued service to this country. Hello, gentlemen. How is everybody?
I'm all good.
Not good.
Not good?
Not good. Did you see what the Bears did yesterday?
Yeah, I know. What am I Bears doing? I'm like, I'm going to rock it, but it was pain. It was pain. It was for sure pain. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoy us, what we're doing here. Thank you very much for having us here at the Huddle Sports Network. Let's get into week number 10, and let's start with Thursday night football. Really entertaining game as the Cincinnati Bengals attempted to come back in the final quarter, but they were beaten by the Baltimore Ravens on a decision to go for two when they could have kicked the extra point and tied this game, potentially send it into overtime. The Ravens moved to 7-3. Cincinnati falls to 4-6. Joe Burrow, if he was on a better football team, as Christian likes to point out, he'd be in the MVP conversation. 4 touchdowns in this game, 0 interceptions. He did fumble twice, but didn't lose either of them. TJ's got Chase Brown had a touchdown. Jamar Chase had 3 touchdowns. If you played fantasy and had Jamar Chase, he was worth like 55 fantasy points in that league. On the other side, Lamar Jackson continues to be just virtuoso. 290 yards and 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry got into the end zone, and a bunch of players scored touchdowns for the Baltimore Ravens, including Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, this is a great game. Probably one of the best I've seen.
Go ahead.
Probably one of the best I've seen all year long. But this game also just kind of showed me why I'm not completely sold on the Ravens. I can't trust them because that defense is going to let them down come January. Did you see what Jamar Chase did to them? And I've been pointing this out all year long. Their secondary is not good at all. They can't get home to the quarterback. And, yeah, they're great at stopping the run. That's probably the only thing they're good at. On the defensive side, never did I think I'd see a day where Baltimore's offense would outshine their defense, because their defense is the reason why they've won 7 games. Their offense is the reason why they've won 7 games this year. It hasn't been because of their defense, and that's just so strange to say. Baltimore having a soft defense, but tough loss for Cincinnati. Joe Burrow just continues to play well and play at the highest level. And David, you pointed it out. Yeah, if his team has a better record, he's the front runner for MVP right now, and I don't think it'd even be close.
I agree with you. Let's talk a little bit about the decision to go for 2. So we have all the NFL pundits saying that they like the decision, and I have a coworker who's a Cincinnati Bengals fan who also liked the decision. I'll be honest with you, I don't get it. I think you kick the extra point there in that situation. I think because you're like, it's not like they were walking off with the game winner. Like this was it, right? Like they were going to have to kick the ball to Baltimore with 2 timeouts and with a defense that could not stop Baltimore all game long. You basically, as Izzy pointed out, all they would need is a field goal to win the game. I mean, the scenario is the same, but
That you argued vehemently.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I think you just.
I thought he was talking about the field goal won the game. Like I was.
It might have been a misunderstanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I think, you're right though.
I'm with the Bolt. I'll go for the win. Go every time, twice on Sunday. You go for the win. It's unfortunate that the only thing I don't like about that play call was the ball was thrown to the wrong person. Like,
I mean, they probably should just snapped it when they had. I mean, they had a one-on-one matchup before they called the timeout in the first attempt at it. Like, snap that ball. You had Jamar Chase one-on-one with a rookie corner. Snap it.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, that ball's got to go to Jamar Chase.
Give me Chase. That ball's got to go to Jamar Chase every time. And it's nothing against Mike Gesicki or anybody else on who. Yeah, I think the ball went to Gesicki.
No, I didn't. It was Tanner
throw
Hudson,
that
I
ball
think.
to Jamar Chase. It wasn't Jamar Chase, so it don't matter.
That's true.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that's
everyone's talking. Everyone's talking about the lack of calls that because I think he got hit late. The person who the receiver that the ball was going to, he got held. So it was almost like, hey, pick a penalty. It was unnecessary roughness. It was DPI. It was whatever, and not one was called. And Al Michaels is like another game ending like this, and like people are like this is the game that gets people up in arms. It's like, dude, there's been Chiefs games this season where it's like they didn't call this, they didn't call that, and y'all ain't say nothing. But to Christian's point about Baltimore's defense, hey, I don't know what can be said that hasn't been said. I don't know what they say to each other because at the end of the day, they're still 7-2, 8-1. What's the 7-2? Yeah, 7-2.
They're 7-3.
They're still 7-2, 7-3. They still 7-3. They still lead the division. Like this is different if they are teetering. They are a 500 team or below 500 team, and you can point back to the games that you lost because the defense gave up big leads, and it's cost you more than what it already has. Your saving grace to Christian's point is, hey, Lamar is insane.
Yeah, and just imagine
Lamar is doing the damn.
Yeah, and just imagine, where they'd be without Lamar because the defense hasn't been great this year.
True.
Imagine
where they'd be if they didn't have Derrick Henry too. I mean, Derrick Henry's been awesome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, and here's another. I'm so glad you brought that up, David. What have I been saying all year about Baltimore and Derrick Henry? He needs to touch the ball how many times?
25.
Between 20 and 25 times. He only touched the ball 16 times, and they still won.
Yep. Moving on from there, let's talk a little bit about the Germany game, Sunday morning football. As the Giants, clawed their way back into this game, your heart kind of breaks for Tyron Tracy, who was having a fantastic outing. 18 carries for 103 yards, but he fumbles the first snap in overtime. Carolina recovers. They kick the game-winning field goal. They win in Munich, 20-17. I kind of just say that the fans in Germany are just so much fun. Like they're singing the whole game. They got these giant pitchers of beer, and they're having fun while they're out there. Daniel Jones continues just not good play. 22 of 37, 190 yards and 2 picks. Tyron Tracy, as I mentioned, 103 yards and a touchdown. Wan'Dale Robinson, 5 for 51. Bryce Young, 15 for 25, 126 yards. He's looked really composed in the last 2 games that he's played. Maybe the benching did him some good. Chuba Hubbard continues to be on a tear, and fresh off signing that nice extension, 28 carries for 153 yards and a touchdown. And Izzy's guy, Jatavion Sanders, caught the lone receiving touchdown as Carolina holds on to win this game.
Rookie.
Yeah. I watched this
I watched it. It was a really good game, actually. I mean, it was nip and tuck. I think both teams. I mean, same for as bad as they are. I thought it was a very competitive game. Daniel Jones, like you said, he just continues to. It's almost as if Christian, as if things need to be sped up. Like he needs to be in a faster, more up-tempo offense to be successful. Because when things are sped up and he's in a more up-tempo offense, Daniel Jones plays a lot better than when things are kind of slower, methodical. Because he, had a couple bad throws that led to those that led to the interceptions where it's just like he throws it behind his guy, he throws it way above his guy's head. I mean, he threw a ball, a guy, I think to Malik Neighbors, where it's like, you about to get the guy murdered, bro, out there. You know what I mean? It's like crazy.
Malik Neighbors left the game twice with concussion symptoms. Yeah.
A hospital ball, yeah, TJ, a hospital ball. Bro, you trying to bro,
talking about the other side. I mean, Bryce Young, this is his first back-to-back winning back-to-back games since he was in college. It's got to do a little something for his morale. He looked good. Yeah.
He looked sharp.
The the part that irked me. Sorry to cut you off. The part that irked me is you get that ball off the fumble. You ran 3 more plays for what? To get like how bad of a kicker do you have that he has to get what 2 yards closer? Because he didn't go. It ain't like he went
Joyce
anywhere.
Slice?
Like, so
No, it's Eddie Pinero.
Oh
no.
yeah, Eddie. Yeah.
Like, it's like how bad of a kicker do you have to like you went 2 yards, you ran 3 plays, you got maybe 4 yards. I'm all like, what are you doing? You had like you got the ball where you got it. You should hey field goal. We kicking the ball right now. We getting out of here. You ran 3 plays.
I don't necessarily mind running running plays. So
It's
For
almost
what?
I mean, gain a
For
couple
what,
yards. I mean,
David?
if you break one, go to the end zone. I mean,
David,
Chuba Hubbard's been
for
awesome
what?
this season. It's still a
For
walk off
what?
if you can
Next
score a touchdown.
But you don't need that. Next score wins. You're already in field goal.
Yeah,
You're
but
inside the 30.
as we've seen, of course, of history in the NFL, field goal kickers are not automatic. Like it's a chip shot, but things happen, man. Like if you have the opportunity to break a run and score a touchdown and win the game that way, I'll take that all day.
No, you don't.
Yes, I would, 100%, dude. What are you talking about? Kickers can miss. Once you paid her, no matter what happens, the game is over. Like there's no.
No, because what would you say? What would you say if they fumble one of those snaps or Chuba Hubbard fumbled one of those handoffs in the?
I mean, that's just the way it goes sometimes.
What would you say then? Why didn't they kick the field goal?
I would. I would
that's just the way. That's just the way it goes.
Christian,
the hell you? I tell you, I've
save
known you a
us,
long time.
save us from this conversation, please.
Next game.
Okay. Moving on to the game that I cannot wait to talk about. The New England Patriots roll into Soldiers Field, and they just punched the Bears in the face, and the Bears never got up off the mat. They win 19-3. Drake May up and down, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Ramondre Stevenson, 20 for 74. Austin Hooper was the lead receiver for the New England Patriots as they dusted him off the shelf, 3 for 64. Caleb Williams, another tough day at the office. It's been 20 drives in a row, 21 drives in a row since the Bears have scored a touchdown in any game. Just not ideal. 16 of 30, 120 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. DeAndre Swift, 16 for 59. Keenan Allen, leading receiver, as the Bears failed to score a touchdown in this game, and they get flat out embarrassed in their own building.
Before TJ and David go, kind of speak more about this game, that non-touchdown streak, the 2 games is like a over 20-year-old. Like they haven't done that since like 2004. Like it's crazy. And then also, I think you guys are gonna want to allude to like Matt Eberflus is being fired. The Bears have not fired a coach mid-season in 100 years, ever.
I think Shane Waldron is going to be on his. He should be already out now. I'm not sure what the delay is here.
He's already getting his walking papers. They just can't, quit him right now. But they're about to change up.
They should have fired Herm Edwards style right on the field. Like that's what he likes to point out. This offense is just so stagnant. Like it doesn't have any of the interesting. Like you have a dynamic quarterback, let him be dynamic. Let him I just don't.
9 times.
Yes, I'm aware.
He got sacked 9 times. Why is he even out there after he got sacked 9 times? At that point, man,
Izzy. Thank you for that. That was beautiful. Christian, do you mind if I just,
just take the floor, TJ?
Wait.
Just take the floor.
Christian, do you mind?
TJ, before you go, can I just say what I've been telling you all throughout the week and what we talked about yesterday?
Go on while I sip on this crown.
Yeah, look, if I had a cup, I'd take a sip with you. But what did I say before this game last week? David, I said it to you. Somebody got to give a damn. Evidently, damn, I hear him pouring it. Lord have mercy. TJ,
that's some good echo location. Y'all heard that? Good God. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, continue.
TJ, the floor is yours, my friend.
Okay, how we go from what we did in London to what has been the last 3 games? What was said? Who talked to who? like what's the problem? Like the thing I love about teams with other young quarterbacks, the Jaden Daniels, the Drake Mays, the CJ Strouds from a year ago, and so on and so forth, is their coaches tell them, hey, don't worry about turning the ball over. You're gonna turn the ball over. That happens. That's a part of the game. No quarterback has gone perfect in a season where they haven't thrown at least one interception. I think the record low was what, 2, and that was Nick Foles. Yeah, 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
And I don't even compare with I don't know how many snaps you need to qualify for for the league low or whatever. Like if Matt Eberflus is that concerned with his quarterback turning the ball over, then buddy, you don't need to be a coach. Whatever coach speak that you say at the podium, the fans, the media, whoever, we know it's nonsense. It's BS. Why are you playing in our faces? What are you talking about up there? Evaluate what? All you had to you knew you was drafting Caleb Williams from the minute that Arizona Cardinal game from last season went final. You knew Caleb Williams was number 1 overall pick right then and there. You knew that that's what you was finna do. You knew you needed 2 things. You needed weapons and you needed the offensive line. You addressed half of those. You got weapons, and boy, do we got weapons. But what's the problem? Like, why are you calling plays where it takes 50 years for a receiver to get open? Caleb Williams is block loaded, ready to throw, yet not one receiver is out of his route looking for the ball. So he has to wait for them to get open. And you already know the offensive line can't hold up but for oh so long. The last two defensive fronts we faced are literally the 2 worst in the NFL. They have 15 sacks between the 2 of them. The last 2, Arizona and New England, were like 31 and 32 in terms of sacks. They have 15 sacks between the 2 of them in 2 games. Caleb Williams isn't turning the ball over. That's good, but he also is not scoring the ball. That's worse. You get booed. I said it in the group chat. We play Green Bay next week. Izzy, I hope y'all drop 50 on them. I don't know what more. Like, I don't know what more needs to be said. I legit don't know. I legit hope y'all get the ball to Josh Jacobs so much. Josh Jacobs says, you know what? I don't even want to run no more. Take me out. I hope y'all run the ball that much. That I'm so serious. I don't know. Like the more things change, the more they stay the same. And this notion of not firing people mid-season, that shit needs to change. So, excuse my language. I'm sorry. I'm just frustrated. He calls in to a Chicago morning radio show, and his sales and Eberflus's cell phone service is so shoddy that Dave Kaplan goes, dude, your cell phone reception is as bad as the Opens. You're a joke right now.
That was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious. I was listening to that live. And I dang near like crashed the car. Like I was so weak, man.
You're an absolute. You are an absolute joke right now, and I'm sorry that it's taken this long. I'm sorry that it's taken this long for other fans to be like, because like when Bears fans say it's not the quarterback, it's this, and they're just like, no, the quarterback's actually like, no, we're telling you it's not the quarterback. It's never been the quarterback. It's the extreme, like it's the other factors that go into the quarterback. Matt Nagy had Mitch Trubisky actually looking like an NFL quarterback. He went to the playoffs twice.
Yeah.
Went to the playoffs twice.
They made adjustments. Those in-season adjustments where they got Mitch out the pocket,
this team
went quarterback like that.
This team went 3-14 2 years ago. We saw more effort out of a team that went 3-14 than what we're watching right now.
Moving on from the Chicago Bears, let's swing into Indianapolis as the Buffalo Bills continue to roll, and they roll through the Indianapolis Colts, forcing 5 turnovers in this game. They win 30-20. Josh Allen had a pretty pedestrian day at the office. He doubled his pick total in this game alone, but he also had James Cook had a rushing touchdown. Josh Allen had a rushing touchdown. Mac Hollins, 4 for 86 as he was the leading rusher for the Buffalo Bills. On the other side, Joe Flacco, really tough day at the office for Joe Flacco. He had a fumble. He threw 3 picks. He did throw 2 touchdowns, but most of them were mostly when the game was kind of out of reach, at least the last one. Jonathan Taylor, 21 of 114. Alec Pierce had a touchdown, and Tyler Goodson had that touchdown early in the game when it looked like this was going to be somewhat competitive. But then the Buffalo Bills just ran away with this in the fourth quarter.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to Jonathan Taylor. Did you know he ran for over 100 yards in the first half against them? I think it was 100. It was 106 yards he ran, bro. He only had like 8 yards in the second half.
Free Jonathan Taylor.
Like it was for real, dog.
You talking about
for real? He only had 8 yards in the second half, bro. I thought JT was gonna run for 200 on him. I said, man.
Free Chuba Hubbard, free Jonathan Taylor.
Hey, look. Hey, the Colts. The Bills had a really excellent. They made those adjustments, man. In that second half, to we're gonna stop. We're not gonna allow Jonathan Taylor to get off on us because that's what the offense was up until that point. Joe Flacco threw airmailed a couple bad balls, real bad ones, and then that one strip sack was just like all she wrote. Well, if they had some momentum, Like every time they had a little bit of momentum, they just got the ball took it from them in the second half. But yeah, man, golly, Buffalo came out and I mean, shoot, did you see that interception by Kenny Moore?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that was like, oh my gosh, Like they have the interception and then they turn the ball over right back.
Right away.
Right back. Like, what are you guys doing out here?
So, Christian, my question to you, Christian, is: you've seen 2 games of Joe Flacco. Do you think they go like, all right, message sent, and go back to Anthony Richardson?
No,
I mean, I think
no.
you should.
I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
No, because Flacco to me gives them a better chance at winning. You know, look, I know he had a bad game yesterday.
I think the winning is irrelevant at this point for Indianapolis. But
he gives them he keeps them in games. Let's put it that way. Whereas you look at when Anthony Richardson was there, that was solely on Jonathan Taylor in defense. At least with Joe Flacco, you have a live arm. Anthony Richardson, I think honestly, Anthony Richardson is kind of proving Tom Brady's point because when I was at the Fanatics Fest, and this is a comment that's gone viral, Tom Brady said, you can't take these young quarterbacks and throw them in the mud right away. Let them learn. And I think that's what they need to do with Richardson. Izzy?
Me and you, we cover college football for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We said that he didn't have enough reps out of all the quarterbacks. It was a question mark. Even when they took him early, that he didn't have enough reps coming from high school to college to the pros. He didn't have enough big time game reps and it showed. And well, yeah, David's right though, to a point when he gets around.
They still need to find out. I would go back to Anthony Richardson. I mean, you have to find out if he's any.
Anthony Richardson too, because think about some of those plays that like where it's like, okay, Joe Flacco probably. I mean, he's never been a runner, but like Anthony Richardson would have ran. There's like green grass ahead of you, and they know that. And so Anthony Richardson would have ran, and so
Okay. Whatever. What about like a hybrid situation, like in that situation, like say it's like
no, if you're gonna go with one of them, you gotta stick with them. Like the guy whoever starts, Anthony Richardson should be starting games. It's like figure it out.
But to Christian's point, like about Joe Flacco keeping them in games. At one point in time, this was 17-13.
Yeah.
And before that, it was.
I mean, but this Colts defense was keeping them in games for real.
And
after the season, I'm finding a trade. I'm using him as a trade chip, and I'm just starting over with a new franchise quarterback.
Who?
That's it. That's it.
Moving on from this game, the Kansas City Chiefs survive against the Denver Broncos as they block the potential game-winning field goal of Will Lutz for the Denver Broncos, and the Kansas City Chiefs continue to just survive as they're 9-0, and they're 9-0, and they haven't played particularly well. Bo Nix, pretty good day at the office for Mr. Nix. 22 of 30, 2 touchdowns. I'm not sure how to pronounce that running back's any of that name, so I'm not going to try. But he had 53 yards rushing. Cortland Sutton continues to be just one of the best catchers of the football in the NFL. 6 for 70 for a touchdown. On the other side, Patrick Mahomes, he threw a touchdown to Travis Kelce. What? Yeah, Estime.
Estime.
I was like, Estime, Notre Dame.
Travis Kelce, 8 for 64 and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt, leading rusher, 14 for 35. It was a pretty tough day at the office for the running game as Denver really kind of put the clamps on this offense as they only mustered 60 points in the entire game. Only 1 touchdown as the Kansas City Chiefs continue to just survive and win games.
Hey, look, somebody said this, and I agree with them. When you play in Kansas City, you have to beat you have to beat them. They're not gonna let you beat them. Like you legit have to win all 3 phases of the game. And it just comes down to it. Even though Kansas City had a porous offensive performance against Denver, who by the way, Denver's defense is what, a top 5 defense, top 5 unit in the NFL. You have to play all 3 phases of the game. What do we always say, right, Christian? All 3 phases of the game. We see coaches free special teams, defensive, offense, defensive, special teams, and that's just one of them. I mean that play, the field goal was just that's a play, bro. That's not by luck. It's not by because he got the sun in his eye. No, they blitzed the hell out of that left tackle. They pushed him backwards, and 4 guys came barraging like a dam, like a water broke through dam, and they blocked that damn kick. And so when you play Kansas City, you have to play them all 60 minutes. You can't play them 59 minutes and 58 seconds. You have to play all 60 minutes of the football game.
I agree. But I remember saying on another show I contribute for that there were 2 games that I think were going to be tough for Kansas City. It was going to be this one against Denver because Denver has a formidable defense. I mean, they held them under 20 points. Anytime you can hold a Patrick Mahomes team under 20 points, you've done something right. And then obviously the one next week. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. Listen, Kansas City, they're 9-0 for the 3rd time in franchise history. I remember the first 2 times they were 9-0. In 2003 with Tony Gonzalez, Trent Green, and Priest Holmes. Yeah, I take it back. And Dante Hall. And 2013.
Human joystick, baby.
Yeah, man. 2013 when Alex Smith was the starting quarterback, and that was Andy Reid's first year as the Chiefs head coach. These division games are always tough, no matter who the opponent is. I mean, Kansas City hasn't lost since Christmas of last year.
Yeah.
It's and Christian alluded to it. We'll talk about next week. But watch that be the game where they just have everything just magically clicking. Like Pat Mahomes comes out, he gonna be 30 or 35. He gonna throw for 350, a good 4 touchdowns, and Buffalo is gonna be the one that just watch that beat because that's just our luck, right? It's if you're Denver, that's just one of those where it's God damn, man. That's legit all you can say. Because to Christian's point, you played them about as perfectly as you could. But to Izzy's point, it was for 59 minutes and 56 seconds. Right?
Absolutely.
For 50
and we probably ain't even, hey TJ, and not to mention, my bad to cut you off, but we're probably not even talking about this game being close if Patrick Mahomes makes those throws to Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce. You know what I mean?
But also if you're Kansas City, that's kind of not kind of that's your saving grace. It's hey, Travis Kelce has kind of woken up.
Emerged. Yeah, 100%.
Hey, Travis Kelce's woken up. But the phrase I think about with the Chiefs is Shannon Sharp says it all the time. I will, and I forgot which coach he said it, but he says like I will never accept anything in the win that I would in the loss. So the Chiefs are the Chiefs are playing, they're winning, but they're not playing well. And yeah, you're 9-0, but you really shouldn't be proud about how you got to 9-0, if that makes sense.
Moving from the AFC West to the NFC South, as the Atlanta Falcons dropped a major opportunity to put an absolute stranglehold on their division as they fall to Darren Rizzi and the new coach of the New Orleans Saints, 20-17. Kirk Cousins, not a good day at the office. He did throw one interception. He also fumbled the ball twice, but did not lose either of them. Bijan Robinson over the century mark and had 2 touchdowns in this game. Drake London 3 yards shy of the century mark for him as he's been really good this season. Derek Carr, his loan, he's been bad for the last couple weeks, but this was a good performance for him. He threw 2 touchdowns in this game, both of them to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who rolled the clock back to like his Packer days, or I don't even sure what days he was rolling it back to. He's only been on this team for like a couple days. 3 for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. One of them was a bomb, and the other one was like a sure-handed catch that you never see from MVS.
Yeah, no. This is what Christian was talking about. Hey, those divisional games are always tough, no matter what the records are. Throw the records out the window. The Saints had lost how many in a row? 5, 6 in a row?
7
in a row?
7 in a row.
And then you just come out against the best team in the division, or one of the best teams in the division, and punch them in the mouth. And you win the game. That's legit what Christian is talking about. Division, throw records out the window for some divisional matchups. Like this is one of them. I ain't finna sit here and say like all divisional matchups are created equally. I ain't finna go that far. Like Josh Allen has a 12-2 record against the Dolphins. Like that's hammer meat nail. Like that's.
But I mean, Darren Rizzi, you get your first win as an NFL head coach. This team seemed to kind of rally around him a little bit as well. The former special teams coach becomes the head coach. Love to see in Atlanta. This is a real missed opportunity because everybody else, the Panthers won, but they're not really relevant. And then Tampa Bay continues to lose. You could have absolutely just put your foot on the gas pedal and basically put a stranglehold on this division. Now the door is open a little bit. I mean, Tampa Bay is 4-6, Panthers are 3-7, and now this Saints team is 3-7. You never want to give teams like this life and make them think they have a chance to make the playoffs. You got to just shut the door.
No, you don't. And give a lot of credit to the New Orleans Saints because this was the most energy I've seen them play with all year since that game against Dallas in week 2, which was their last win of the year. But after that, and seeing how they played yesterday, just effort, finishing tackles, getting after Kirk Cousins, pushing the ball up and down the field more consistently. And huge shout out to Alvin Kamara for becoming the Saints all-time leading rusher. He's not even 30 years old yet. That's what makes this even more impressive. But I just saw a team that wanted to play for Darren Rizzi. We didn't see this same energy under Dennis Allen.
Izzy, you got any final thoughts before we move on? If you're still there.
I think his mic is muted, David.
Okay, we're going to move on from that game into the battle between the NFC West and the NFC South, and it came down to a Jake Moody field goal to clinch this victory 23-20. San Francisco kind of escapes. 25 of 36 for Brock Purdy, 353 yards and 2 touchdowns. Chris McCaffrey making his season debut, 13 carries, 39 yards. Definitely showed some rust. Good to see him back on the football field. Ricky Pearsall gets his first NFL touchdown, 4 for 73 yards, and that touchdown in this game. Baker Mayfield, 18-29, 116 yards and a touchdown. Bucky Irving had a touchdown, and so did Rachaad White in the passing game, as Baker Mayfield also had 3 fumbles and lost 2 of them in this game.
Yeah, this was a grinded-out game for San Francisco, and you just see the difference in their offense when Christian McCaffrey is on the field compared to when he's not. He opened things up for them in the red zone. But we could be real here. San Francisco should have lost this game because Jake Moody missed 3 field goals. And that's what I always talk about, David, is leaving those points on the table. But he did redeem himself. He made a kick that ended up clinching the game. But Brock Purdy was as good as they came in this game. Tampa played a lot of man coverage, and Brock picked them apart. And this is when San Francisco starts to go on a run. So watch out.
Yeah, man. Tampa can legit say, man, we win a coin toss, or if we go for two in the last game, we win. And this one right here, it's just, god damn, man, like what I got to do? Baker's like, man, what I got to do? What do I got to do? Also, like, if you're San Fran, like you're getting everybody back, that's great. But I think internally, I think they got to be feeling the pressure, right? It's you had 6 great years, but nothing to show for it. You have one of the best rosters in the NFL and best rosters in NFL history. You have nothing to show for it. You got Debo punching Kyle Juszczyk in the face for whatever reason, whatever that was about. The whole shut up and play crowd is now pro speaking your mind because it's a player that they like. Christian knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
but it's a good win for the Niners. Yeah, Tampa Bay, it's just damn. Hey, just try to keep afloat. Try to stay in this thing as long as you can.
I mean, until Mike Evans comes back, which should be after their bye. Izzy, your thoughts? Are you back yet?
No, he's muted. Keep going.
Okay. Moving on from there, we're going to swing into probably one of the more entertaining games of the entire weekend. The Pittsburgh Steelers going into Washington and beating the Commanders 28-27. Russell Wilson, as Christian likes to say. What does Christian like to say about Russell Wilson?
His name is Russell, last name Wilson.
But 50% completion percentage in this game, a 14-28 for 195 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Jalen Warren almost had a really costly fumble. He did have a really costly fumble. If the game had lost because of that, it would have been devastating. But they were able to drive the ball down the field again and get into the end zone. Najee Harris has 3 games in a row with a touchdown. George Pickens continues to just be fantastic with Russell Wilson as his quarterback. He had a touchdown, and Mike Williams, who they just traded for, had the game-winning touchdown. Jaden Daniels, 17-34, 202 yards. Austin Eckler, Jeremy Nichols all had all 3 of the rushing touchdowns in this game. And Terry Scary McLaurin goes over the century mark in this one as the Commanders fall just short of the Pittsburgh Steelers and fall 28-27.
I know Mike Tomlin, he's been a great coach since he's come into the league.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, never had a losing season, but
Yep.
David, TJ, and Izzy, I think this is his best job yet because doesn't really have a superstar on this team. He just works with what he has around him and just knows how to implement the perfect game plan.
Always gets it done.
He always gets the job done. And look, when they needed Russell Wilson to be great, he did it. Yesterday showed why they benched Justin Fields for Russell Wilson because this is no knock on Justin at all, you guys, but Justin ain't completing them passes yesterday, especially that one he threw to Mike Williams. Russell Wilson couldn't have thrown that ball any better. He just threw it off the back foot if you look at it because Washington sent an all-out blitz. They sent a delayed blitz. It's not an all-out blitz. They sent a delayed blitz that's where a safety or a cornerback comes off the edge, and there's no preparation for it. You never know when it's coming. It's truly delayed, and that ball couldn't have fallen into the breadbasket of Mike Williams any better than what it did. I remember somebody telling me on Instagram, they will remain nameless, telling me that the Steelers were going to lose every game. After starting Russell Wilson, and look at where the Steelers are now. They're 7-2, and right now they're the best team in the AFC North. It hasn't been pretty, but they're winning football games, Izzy. We talk about this all the time. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be.
And their defense has just been otherworldly.
But their defense wasn't great yesterday, David. When Russell Wilson needed them, needed him when they needed Russell Wilson to be great. Or Izzy, how do we?
That's the big difference between this Steelers team and the Steelers team of the last few seasons, right? They didn't have a guy that they could be like, hey, we need you to get this for us, and because they basically had to rely. If their defense didn't play well, they were going to lose. And now they have a quarterback that can make those throws, can make those plays, and like elevate this offense, elevate this football team. They haven't had that in a couple of seasons.
I like that you mentioned, Justin Fields wouldn't make those throws. I think, obviously you're right. You're right. I mean, no knock on him. Like you said, I kind of had to replay those sentiments because they got Justin Fields to bring in competition, but they also got Justin Fields for the future. They know that he's still a young quarterback. They know that he still has a great arm. He's got all the athletic intangibles. He showed what he can do early on in the season. Yeah, maybe the offense might have been a little stagnant, but he's there. He's there to sit behind. You're still winning. But you were brought in to learn the nuances of being a professional quarterback behind a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and Russell Wilson. You never got that luxury in Chicago, and those moon balls that Russell throws. Yes, Justin Fields can learn to put a little more touch on those throws, and he can learn from one of the best because Russell throws one of the best deep balls. From a little guy that I've ever seen, And so in terms of that touch, like the pass to Mike Williams, like you got one-on-one on the outside, just beat your corner. I'm going to lay it in the breadbasket. And that's what he did. And, kudos to, like you said, Mike Tomlin, great, job here that he's done this season. And you know what? Hey, the Commanders, young team, they're going to learn. But, hey, I feel bad. You just like how I felt bad for TJ David. You felt bad for Tyrone Tracy. I feel bad for my boy John. Yeah, I feel bad for my boy Johnny, man,
tough.
from Illinois, jumping on that offsides. You gotta be patient there, man.
I'll sum this up real quick with this one. It's funny how Mike Williams looked washed in New York, right?
Moving on from there, the Minnesota Vikings go into Jacksonville, and I really like the white helmets that the Jaguars were rocking in this game. Didn't help them win the game or play well, but it still looked cool. Minnesota kind of just survived in this game. Jacksonville went up to the early 7-0 lead, and then Minnesota scored the final 12 points of the game, even with Sam Darnold turning the ball over. It was his three times, 3 picks. Aaron Jones, 17 for 88. T.J. Hockenson, 8 for 72. Mac Jones got the start with Trevor Lawrence potentially being done for the year. He threw 2 picks. He also had the lone rushing touchdown for this team. Evan Ingram, leading receiver, as the Jaguars just fall to the Minnesota Vikings in Duval County. Not sure what else needs to be said.
This game, this was ugly.
Haven't really been sold on Minnesota. Did they look good at times during the undefeated start? Yeah, most definitely. But it just seems like they've kind of come tumbling back down to reality after that next game. Really, nothing else.
It was a very
We're gonna rip through the late afternoon window as none of these games were remotely competitive. Let's start first in SoFi Stadium as the Chargers beat the Tennessee Titans 27-17. Will Levis gets the start after missing the last 3 games with an injury. Just poor play, whatever the excuse was. 18 of 23, 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. Calvin Ridley had a nice day at the office. 5 catches, 84 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Justin Herbert continues to be Mr. Efficient when it comes to playing for the Chargers right now. 14 for 18, 1 touchdown. He also had a rushing touchdown. And Quentin Johnson continues his resurgence in his second season, had the lone receiving touchdown for the Chargers as they win easily, 27-17.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, all I gotta say, Will Levis was taking shots down the field, and Chicago can barely get a first down. Next game.
To the next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles going into Jerry World and embarrassing the Cowboys again on their home field, 34-6. And I know the score was 34-6, but this game was also not that close. Jalen Hurts, 2 touchdowns.
The score ain't that close either, David. What the hell are you talking about?
It could have been worse. It for sure could have been that much, 100% worse.
It seemed like it was like 48-0, but go ahead.
34-6. Jalen Hurts accounts for 4 touchdowns in this game, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground. Dallas Goedert and Johnny Wilson, the rarely used tight end, gets his first touchdown. I think it is in his career.
Not a tight end. He's a receiver.
Receiver, whatever. And then Cooper Rupp get the start with obviously Dak Prescott being out. 13 of 23, 45 yards. Oh man, 2 yards per pass attempt for Cooper Rush in this game. Rico Dowell, 12 of 53. Jake Ferguson, 4 of 24. Just a tough day to be a Dallas Cowboy fan and to be a Jerry Jones.
Hey, look. All I gotta say is, Cowboy fans, does the offense look better with Cooper Rush? The offense looked better with Cooper Rush because all these damn Cowboy fans were saying the same. You were saying like, "Hey, this offense is gonna look better with Cooper. We can't stand Dak." Now you realize, yeah, Dak isn't that great either. Hasn't played that great either. But you're better off with Dak than Cooper Rush. So yeah,
and Trey Lance, whatever for what it's worth.
They brought Trey Lance out for a couple plays. To like, kind of, they had a little package, but
I hope they start him next week.
Yeah, I feel like they should start him.
Let him play. Figure out if he's any good, which we know he's probably not.
I would.
Why you brought Trey Lance in there?
No, I legit think no one. I can't remember the last time a quarterback hasn't gotten a fair shake the way Trey Lance has gotten. Like his first start was a torrential downpour, and then it just went to hell from there. CD, they had a chance to score a touchdown, but CD lost the ball in the sun because they were like,
it was not a good throw. He was not going to catch it anyways. But
I mean,
whatever excuse they want to use, but
it also doesn't help that CD Lamb is legit looking at straight,
but he had no chance to catch that football. Like he can say whatever he wants.
And then the ball is thrown, comes out behind him, but he let CD tell it. Like he made this sound like, yo, I couldn't see the ball. And for Jerry Jones to come out and say, well, let's just tear the stadium down and bro, stop talking. Stop talking. You are
no, bro. DJ.
Yes.
Somebody said on the internet, and I totally 100% agree with these guys. They said, how were the Mayan and the Aztecs able to predict where the sun set and sun rose like 6,000 years ago? But your engineers and your people that built this stadium couldn't predict where the sun was going to be at. They had the correct opening where the sun shines the brightest. Like, come on, bro.
Moving on to another beatdown in the late afternoon window is the Arizona Cardinals keep thumping teams. This time the Jets 31-6. Aaron Rodgers looks all of 41, 22 of 35, 151 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Breece Hall 10 for 52. Garrett Wilson did not reemerge as his 2 touchdown game performance from the week before, 5 for 41. Kyler Murray continues to be just fantastic so far this season. 22 of 24, a touchdown. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns. James Conner had a rushing touchdown. And Maserati Marv had the lone receiving touchdown for the Arizona Cardinals as they just continue to just thump teams so far this season. And they are one of the nice stories that we've seen so far this NFL season. Probably going to be a playoff team.
We all picked them to like die this year, and they
was Kyler
resurfaced. They resurfaced as playoff contenders and leading the division. I think that team saw like the landscape of the division. Obviously, it's TBD with LA Rams and also with Christian McCaffrey coming back for the Niners. But they saw like, hey, these guys are injured. Like the Rams and the Niners are injured. Like, hey man, this division's up for grabs, and they played like it, and they're still playing like it. And it's kind of like a freeness, right? I want to say Christian. It's like the Cardinals are playing with a free spirit, sort of sense.
Yeah,
no expectations, they're playing really.
Yeah,
and I think this is also the death nail of the Jets and their season.
Yeah, I mean, look. The death nail happened when Aaron Rodgers decided he wanted to be the Prince of Egypt. But we ain't gonna get into that. Izzy, we talk about this all the time. And what did I mention to you about Kyler Murray? Not all the pressure is on him. You know what I'm saying? Like he was asked to be the leading passer. He was asked to be the leading rusher, David, and now James Conner's kind of alleviated that weight off his shoulders. He's building up a nice chemistry with Marvin Harrison. What's his name, David?
Maserati Marv.
That's what I'm talking about.
To Christian's point about Aaron Rodgers, the death nail was actually when he didn't show up for OTAs. I understand they are voluntary. They're voluntary OTA, like that, meaning you can show up or you can't show up. But those are voluntary OTAs. Like, bro, you're the quarterback of a new team. You didn't get a chance to work out last offseason. You have no rapport with the guys that are there. Get your ass to OTAs and work out.
He should have been the first one there, TJ.
You should have been the first one in the building, but no, you want to go on this little darkness retreat, whatever the hell that is.
Still doing this for years, son.
Still don't know what that is. But
champagne bottle at?
But Izzy, here's the issue.
Drinking champagne.
Izzy, up until that last year in Green Bay, he always had rapport with at least one guy. That one guy went away. Now it's a bunch of people that he don't really know, and then it's one that's like, damn, why is the offense looking like this? Okay, now you traded for that one guy in New York, and the offense still ain't worth a damn.
To the final game, the Detroit Lions absolutely survive against the Houston Texans in Houston, 26-23. My guy, Jake Bates, made 2 50-yard field goals, including the game-winning kick. Jake Bates is like my favorite story in football ever. Like, I just love his story. Jared Goff, a really tough day at the office here. 15 for 30, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, and yes, 5 interceptions. Somehow the Lions were able to steer the ship, keep it afloat, while Jared Goff threw 5 picks. Not all of them were his fault. 2 of them were tipped. 1 was on a Hail Mary. So tough. Jahmyr Gibbs is 19 for 71. David Montgomery had the lone rushing touchdown. Sam Laporta got into the end zone. Amon-Ra St. Brown got into the end zone. On the other side, C.J. Stroud throws a kind of a costly pick. They kind of really set up Detroit for the victory here. 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Joe Mixon had a touchdown as he continues to just be awesome so far this season. And John Mechie III, 5 for 74 and a touchdown. Nice to see John Mechie III dealing after what he's dealt with in his personal life with the cancer diagnosis and coming back from that, able to get into the end zone as he was a leading receiver for this team as well.
Now, look, my pettiness needs to kick in right now because if I don't get this petty comment out, then, it'll just harm me. Look, C.J. Stroud and Jared Goff combined for more interceptions together than the Jets had points.
Damn.
Let that sink in. Let that sink in. There was 7
interceptions thrown in that game.
Yeah, because
and Kyrie Fairbairn, actually, my bad, it missed the field goal that could have won the game. He's usually a fairly accurate kicker, but 58 yards for Kyrie Fairbairn, and then Jake Bates.
I don't want to hear that. He beat Buffalo on a 59-yarder. Don't.
He's a good kicker. He just missed it. It happens sometimes.
Yeah. This game showed me that Houston isn't quite ready for prime time. I know they're injured. I know Nico Collins would have given them a boost, but that first half of football I saw from the Houston Texans, that was as good as it got. Just due to the simple fact they were closing in on Jared Goff's pocket, pressuring him and forcing him to hold on to the ball longer than what he wanted to. You throw him off his spot, you can impact him, as you saw that yesterday. The Lions are just all grit. I mean, what a win, what a come from behind win. When you're up by 16 points, you put your foot on their neck and you drive away. But they just didn't do that, David.
Texans fans are complaining about that last drive. Like they felt that was DPI. It could have been called. You're not getting the sympathy that you're looking for because you got 5 interceptions and you were winning. It shouldn't have come down. I agree that if it's a penalty, call it. Like this whole I've always hated this stage of the game. They're not going to call this, not going to call that. That's always irked me. No, if it's a penalty in the first 5, it's a penalty in the last 5. Knock that off. That being said, you got the ball. You got 6 takeaways. You were up 16. This was a game that Detroit should have never seen daylight.
In. I mean, they score 19 points unanswered in this game and come back and beat you. That should never have happened.
Because I get it, right? If that penalty is called, Kyrie Fairbairn doesn't have to kick a 58-yarder. He probably has 15 yards. He probably has to. He kicks.
I mean, it's a first down. They continue the drive. I mean, they have the opportunity to take it all the way down to the final bell,
and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. But yeah,
I mean, Lions got the ball back with 1:51 left. I mean, if they call that flag, they get to drive the. I mean, I'm not sure what the timeout situation was. Detroit used their first timeout, so they would basically get 3 running plays. Detroit would burn all their timeouts. They would be down to what is this? 1 minute left to try to get into field goal range. Even if he made the kick.
I wouldn't trust Kyrie Fairburn with lint in my pocket.
All right, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Let alone trying to make a clutch kick.
Don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Come on now.
Don't be rude. But this is a game no business winning, and they find a way to win.
I said I wouldn't trust Kyrie Fairburn with lint in my pocket, yet alone to make a
damn rude.
You so disrespectful.
Hey, man, those were 2 of the closest kicks, though, man. I'm so happy for Jake Bates, though. Those are 2 of the closest kicks I've ever seen.
Yeah,
in probably my whole life.
Kiss the upright on both sides. Like,
man,
let's go.
Jeez,
Look, let me say this too, man. Hell must be freezing over for me and TJ to both team up and tell somebody they disrespectful.
But yeah, thank you very much for joining us here at Prime Sports World. This has been our Week 10 recap. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And thank you very much, Huddle Sports Network. Right, Huddle Sports Network for bringing us on on their shows. We really do appreciate the feature and just allowing us to be on your platform. Continue checking us out. We're going to be live every single day. So continue, checking us out here at Prime Sports World.
And for all the YouTube, Facebook guys that watch us, you can if you have a Roku TV or Amazon Fire Stick, you can watch this episode at 9:00 tonight.
Yep, that's what's up. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. I'm David Helpman, Israel Rivera, TJ Hopkins, and from the Daily Blitz blog, Mr. Christian Simpson. And my friends, what do we do here at Prime Sports World?
We bring
the heat, baby.
Let's go, baby. We'll be back here tomorrow. Week number 11. Also giving out our game balls. Let's go, baby. We'll be back here tomorrow. You all take it easy.
See you.